And here are the current conditions in Daytona Beach. First of all, the pressure for the last hour has been steady at 30 and 1100s. The wind east at 5 miles per hour. The humidity 49%. And the low reading this morning at the regional airport, as I noted earlier, 30 degrees. Orlando with a rising pressure, 30 and 900s. And right now the wind from the south at 6 miles per hour. And the humidity at 24%. And the low at the international airport, 32 degrees. Most of the lows this morning throughout central Florida were in the low 30s, a few getting up into the high 20s, Deltona being one with 26 degrees. But that's going to change rapidly. Those clouds are on the way. The winds definitely have shifted. We should not get those low readings again tomorrow morning. Here are the current temperatures. Daytona Beach 58, 66 in Orlando and Cocoa Beach. Ocala with 57, 64 in Gainesville. Inverness 64, Tallahassee 63, Jacksonville 58, Melbourne 64, and Vero Beach with 66 degrees. So a lot of pleasant 60-degree temperatures throughout central Florida. And now here's the forecast for tomorrow. It'll be cloudy, a chance of rain, and it will be warmer. The lows tomorrow morning should be in the low 40s. The afternoon highs about 70 degrees, and the wind should be south at 10 to 15 miles per hour, and those southerly winds will continue until late tomorrow night, and then that front should be passing over us while the low will be passing north of us. That means the winds will be shifting around northwest, but I do not expect a cold blast of air coming down our way this time because this air is moving west to east and not north to south, and that means all the difference in the world.
Good. Thank you very much, David. In our next half hour on NewsCenter-2, Debbie Wright will have a report on the sentencing of James Tucker, which, by the way, was delayed today. Tucker is accused of kidnapping a 5-year-old girl from in front of a Daytona Beach hotel last July. And one community has found a way to limit its growth, but it has caused problems. Janet Gauss will have a byline report. Today has been a good day for the Daytona Beach Police Department. Detectives have arrested suspects in 2 murder cases. Ron Kendrick reports.
County authorities are still waiting for a psychiatric report of Diane Evers, the woman charged with drowning her 3 young daughters in a bathtub on New Year's Day. The report will determine if she remains in the county jail or is transferred to a psychiatric facility. Mrs. Evers faces 3 counts of first-degree murder in the deaths of her 4-year-old twin girls and a 2-year-old daughter. Officials say she has a history of mental problems. Memorial services for the 3 children will be held at the Grace Bible Baptist Church tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Burial will take place in Georgia. Meanwhile, in Miami, 2 Dade County policemen pleaded innocent today to charges in connection with the beating death of a motorcyclist. The 2 officers are Patrolman Alex Harrio and Sergeant Herbert Evans. Arthur McDuffie died December the 21st after 4 days in a coma. Officers at first said the insurance executive's skull was fractured when his motorcycle crashed at the end of a high-speed chase. Prosecutors now say the accident was faked to cover up a beating by nightclubs and flashlights. Trial is set for March. 3 other officers also charged will be arraigned later this month. Here in Orlando, in a surprise move, the sentencing of convicted kidnapper James Tucker was delayed today for 2 weeks. The delay came after the defense said the trial was out of the jurisdiction of the Middle District of Florida. NewsCenter-2's Debbie Wright has that story. Testing on the space shuttle will resume again shortly. That is, if they get the engines back together in time. And Janet Gauss has a byline report on New Smyrna Beach's beach building restrictions. Details after this. Space engineers are just about ready to resume testing of the Space Shuttle Columbia at the Cape. A series of mock launches and simulated flights were scrubbed before Christmas because of computer problems. But before the testing can resume, the ship's 3 engines have to be removed and parts shipped to the manufacturer for modifications. NewsCenter-2's Rob Zaya has a report.
Growth and how to handle it is going to be one of the biggest questions facing Florida in the coming year. One Atlantic Coast community, New Smyrna Beach, developed a density cap 6 years ago to deal with the problem, but the cap has been challenged repeatedly. In this byline report, Janet Gauss explains how New Smyrna Beach has fared in its efforts to control growth. And briefly in other news, the Volusia County Council has a new chairman, P.T. Flucius, sometimes called the father of charter government in Volusia County. He was elected this morning on a 4-3 vote. The city of Daytona Beach will need $2.15 million more to balance its budget next year, and City Manager Howard Tipton is suggesting tax increases and payroll cuts. 68 people died in traffic accidents last year in Volusia County, an increase of 5 deaths from 1978. That is despite longer hours on the road by the Florida Highway Patrol checking speed limits. And we'll have more news when News Center 2 continues.
A truck carrying 20 canisters of explosive propane apparently blew a tire, went out of control, and rolled over.
State hearing officer has determined that a ratification vote on a new contract was illegally conducted by a union representing some 1,800 Brevard County school employees. And as a result, the investigator has recommended to the Public Employees Relations Commission that a new vote be taken. Rob Zaya reports. 4 Leesburg firemen are still in the hospital after battling a blaze in downtown Leesburg last night. They are listed in stable condition but are still under observation for smoke inhalation. 3 businesses were destroyed and a 4th was severely damaged. When firemen arrived at the scene of West Main Street at 6:30 last night, they found the fire and already had gutted a bicycle shop, a gift shop, and a health food store. There is no cost estimate on the damage yet, but the cause of the fire was a fluorescent light bulb that overheated or malfunctioned. A bomb threat was phoned into the Miami Coast Guard this morning. The call said there was a bomb on board a freighter from the Cayman Islands, but a demolition squad searched the vessel and found nothing. Steve, and the sports news is next when we continue.